Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to part 31 of my Hyperion progression series. This is basically part 2 of my mechanic progression. I'm going to be working a little bit more on this character because I feel like there's a lot of things to do and I'm basically just leaving straight off from the end of the previous part. I'm basically just recording right after me uploading the previous part, and yeah, I'm just really excited to work on this character right now because we'll be able to start working towards doing some new bosses and trying to go for some real gear upgrades. Now, the first thing that I want to start off with is just working on what we have at the moment. You can see here, I've sold all the crystals from the previous bossing session and I have just under 800 mil, which is quite a lot to work with. And what I want to start off with is actually going to be my Dom pendant. So I've started up to 10 stars. I'll probably just leave it there for the time being, but I do want to make it usable over one of these two pendants I have at the moment. And I do have some spare, these hard cubes we got from the event, and I want to use this to see if we can tier it up to epic. The Dom pendant I'm really happy to get to epic because it's basically best in slot for this character. Thankfully we did get the tier up really quickly, and I'm happy to keep using these because even if it tiers up to unique, I'll be happy to keep re-rolling it even on unique. This pendant is basically so good compared to everything else we have access to at the moment. I'm super happy just sending on it. But as I'm saying this, the main goal for today is actually to work towards normal Lotus. And wow, we actually managed to get that tier up to unique. I really want to be able to clear normal Lotus on this character because I want to start on the Absolab gear as soon as possible. If we can get our Absolab gear going, it will be able to make our bossing so much faster and also give us the damage we need to be able to train. So I haven't really decided when I wanted to train this character, but once I have some time to actually start training, this character will level up pretty quickly, I'd imagine. And yeah, I would like to have good gear for it to be able to one-shot in the Arcane River once it gets there. So I'm just going to keep rolling this to see if we can get 9%. Oh, 12, even better. So we're pretty happy with that. And this will be our damage gear for the time being. It actually beats out the Mechanator pendant, even though the other pendant is a Horntail necklace. The Horntail necklace getting a random unique upgrade definitely made it better than Mechanator, but we can keep the Mechanator pendant for the time being. Pretty big upgrade, going from a relatively blank pendant to something that is really strong. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a little bit of money to re-roll this ring. I am ideally looking for just 2 lines of stats. It originally was 18%, but I rolled it off for Meso, then I realized there's no point because I'm not going to train. So I'm just going to hope to get maybe 2 lines of something useful. I think the best case scenario would be 21%, but we hit 18% here, so no complaining. And the other rings are in a pretty fine spot as well. Another thing that I want to do before we start pushing Lotus is try to get everything to at least epic if I can. A lot of it is already epic or better, but there are some bits and pieces that are still at rare. This top will stay at rare just because it is 6%. I'm pretty happy with 6%, but with these pants it's only got 3%. Let's see if these hard cubes can get it to epic. Very nice, we managed to get it to epic. I'll use the rest of these hard cubes to go around and cycle between the ones that are not epic. I think the only item I don't really want to tier up is this Tyrant Cape, but we'll see how much we have left over. So let's just move over to the gloves for the time being. This can be used to transfer into the Absol gloves later down the track, so it doesn't matter if this goes up to epic or not. Very nice, we managed to get it to tier up. While rolling this, I actually realized that my belt isn't epic yet, so I'm going to go back for the belt first. The belt can transfer into an eventual superior Golix belt, so we don't really mind if this tiers up to epic as well. Almost out of these hard cubes, but we did manage to get it to epic. Back on the pants, if we get lucky it will tier up to unique, but we're really just looking for 6% dex right now for our epic items. I'm going to use some mystical cubes to re-roll the epic items we just got, aiming for 6%, or if we get really lucky we might get 9. Nice, 6% on the pants. We'll go next on the gloves. There we go, 6%. Almost 9%, but defense is a bit of a tricky line for us. Let's do the last item, I believe, which is this belt. There we go, took a good amount of rerolls, but we did manage to hit 6% dex as well on it. So now I think all of our items should be pretty usable right now, either at 6% dex or better. And yeah, that's pretty much all we can really ask for our current gear set. We don't want to push anything too far if we can help it, mostly because A lot of these are temporary gear. Our ideal endgame for this character will be 5 set Absolab, with the rest being CRA, and a lot of our accessories should be Golix, including the belt and whatnot, but that is still quite far away, and I'm okay just settling on what we have at the moment. The one of the things though that I'm happy to try to push for is actually going to be my Emblem. The Emblem is best in slot, of course, and I think it is one of the most beneficial ways that we can get some cheap damage before we try to do Lotus. I don't have that much money to go with, and I don't think that this is going to be enough. But because all the money that I've earned on this character, I've got from itself, I haven't taken it from my main, I'm okay kind of using it to feed itself right now. So I'm going to buy some of these Bright Cubes and see if we can get it to tier up to Legendary. It's pretty hopeful to get Legendary within 700 mil, but yeah, I think even a unique upgrade will be a pretty nice damage increase. 9% attack, maybe even 2-line would be pretty awesome, but yeah, let's see if we can get lucky with these cubes. Very nice, we managed to get a unique tier up. Let's see if we can get the legendary tier up with the remaining 18. It's gonna be pretty difficult, I think, but if we can get it, we'll be in such a good spot. Well, we didn't manage to get a tier up, but this is a pretty decent potential for how much we spend on it. For a unique line, 9% damage and 9% attack with a little bit of all stat. Can't complain, honestly, it's a pretty solid line for a unique emblem. And once we roll off of this, we'll probably be in a richer position than we are right now. So this will be definitely a solid settle for the time being. With that, I believe at the end of the last part, I was at about 1.5 million combat power to see what our emblem and our dominant pendant brings us up to. We got about 200k increase on our combat power, but what I'm going to do to prep as well for Lotus is I need to fix these hyper stats. I remember putting these in when I was on stream, but I didn't realize that I had some points already on EXP obtained. So I'm going to have to make a new page and use this as my bossing page. So just give me a sec to fix up my hypers, and I'll see you guys in a second. There we go, we adjusted our hypers just a little bit. We gained a little bit on the combat power. Not much really, but it is nice not having these little extra points into EXP obtained when we're bossing. So just probably helping us a little bit. Not much, but we'll take whatever gains we can get. With this all done though, I think that we are in a pretty nice spot to be able to try to clear normal Lotus. I am missing a few small things here and there that I would like to have. One of them being, for example, my FAMs. I actually don't have that many FAM cards in my collection, and I tried to going for some kind of IED or useful lines, but given the small amount of FAMs that I have access to, these are basically what I found when doing Critias. Not really much to say, they're not really useful for us, unfortunately. But anyway, I think it is time for us to give a go at some bosses. The first one I'm going to try to do is normal Lotus. Normal Lotus, I will bring with me a Legion luck coupon. I did this with my battle mage as well. This is just to try to ensure us getting 2 cores. If we can get 2 cores from normal Lotus, we'll be able to get our first Absolab piece immediately. And depending on how we go, we might be able to do normal Damien as well. Damien does have less HP, but he is much harder to hit. So I don't really know the capabilities of this class just yet. I could realistically just die out in normal Lotus, I'll be honest. But yeah, it's definitely a boss that is worth trying to do. Along with that, I will be using a VIP bossing buff, and because I am in a small guild, I do have access to some guild skills. Thankfully, they are pretty decent for a small guild. Unlike my BAM, I won't be restricting myself from guild skills. I think for a second character, I need all the help I can get, especially that I'm playing solo. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. Anyway, let's start off this video with a bang. Hopefully we can get this normal Lotus clear, and if we're really lucky, we might just be able to get our first piece of Absolab. I'll see you guys in the boss, and we'll see how we go. So not the greatest first attempt for Lotus, that's for sure. I learned a few things about my class, and the first thing I realized is that I can't actually use the portal while I'm holding down my homing beacon. I also can't climb ladders, so I learned that the hard way, I think. So I'm just gonna make sure I let go of those buttons before I start climbing. But I think for the most part, I should be able to cheese the boss because I have this portal. I don't think I put them in very good spots, I'll be honest, but I think if I can just learn how to use it. Towards the end, I kind of got the gist of using the portal a little bit more. Maybe the placement of them wasn't optimal, but just having the option to kind of just go through and not deal with the lasers and not having to climb was a lot better. I stopped dying as much in the second half of P1, so we'll give it another go once my skills come back off cooldown. Annoying thing is that I did realize I don't have guild skills because I haven't been in the guild for more than 24 hours. So that's a little bit annoying, but I think that should be okay. It looks like I can get out of P1 within about 5 minutes, maybe 2 bursts or so. I think if I play safe and play clean in P1, it should be a relatively easy clear. I don't think P2 and 3 are going to cause as much trouble as P1, mostly because they don't have such obnoxious mechanics like the spinning laser. So let's wait for this cooldown to go in, and we'll try again. Very nice. We managed to get a really clean kill on Lotus. It took us about 20 minutes to get the boss done, so it's a bit on the longer side for a normal Lotus clear, but honestly, considering how low level and low statted we are, we're barely at 8k stat here, but we did manage to get a pretty comfortable clear, and that was without guild skills as well, so yeah, I can't really complain about that, and all it really is now is just kind of hoping that we can get 2 cores. If we can get 2 cores, we'll be able to get a direct upgrade immediately. And yes, we did manage to get 2 cores. All we have to do now is, unfortunately, 1 set of scrapyard, I think. I do have a lot of the scrapyard pieces on my character and in my storage, but I think I might still have to do 1 or 2 extra characters worth of scrapyard. That won't be too fun, but at least we got the first Lotus clear out of the way, and we'll be able to get our first set of Absolab gear. Now, the question kind of comes down now to which one do I replace? I want to say that the correct thing to replace is probably the gloves. I think the gloves are the weakest thing out of the 3 that I can possibly buy. It's mostly because the shoes and the cape both have a lot of attack on them, whereas the glove doesn't really have much going for it. I'm just going to have to go and do some scrapyard. I only have 19, so I actually might have to do 2 characters worth of scrapyard, which is really annoying and a bit unfortunate, but yeah, what can you do? We'll just have to go and suck it up. But yeah, how great is this? We managed to get our first normal Lotus clear on this character, and it only took about 20 minutes. Can't really complain. Another 160 mil crystal available on this character, and yeah, soon enough we'll be able to use its own money to upgrade its own gear. We just finished up scrapyard, and I found a spare core lying around on a random mule, because it turns out if you do Haven you get a random core just for finishing the Haven prequest, and now we have exactly 40 of these diffusion line energy cores, and we can trade these in for our first Lotus Absolab piece. I haven't traded in the coins just yet because I wanted to have a quick look at which of the pieces we can get and how much of a gain we can get from them. And like I said before, I think I am leaning towards the gloves, just because we don't need to upgrade the gloves too much to be able to beat out what we currently have, and we can simply transfer up the potential from these gloves onto the Absolab piece. The shoes and the cape, I believe, are gonna have some trouble replacing the current set, just because the current set has such a high attack value. But once we start building together our Absolab set bonus, we'll be able to replace them very easily. But just in terms of raw stat right now, let's just start off with the gloves. And I think the gloves are a perfectly fine item to get as well, mostly because it does have the chance of getting crit damage on the legendary line, so if we ever decide to actually get it to legendary, we'll be able to get a very nice potential from it. So here we go, our first piece of Absolab on our mechanic. I'm really hoping this comes with a nice flame. Let's see what it comes with. Wow, actually a pretty decent flame. Usable, 45 and 3. Definitely could be better. I am currently thinking whether or not I will re-roll it, and honestly, I'm in a really good mood. That was a silly question. I'm gonna roll this flame. So yeah, it was a pretty solid flame, honestly, for on purchase, but I want something a bit nicer than that. So I'm gonna spend some money to re-roll this flame, and then we'll transfer over the potential from our current glove. It pains me to say it a little bit, but I bought a fair amount of flames, and this is probably what I'm gonna settle with. We have 36 dex, 5 attack, and 4 all stat. Perfectly fine flame. Definitely overspent. I didn't have much to start with, but yeah, definitely not the best use of money, but I just really wanted a fun flame to have, and yeah, this is good enough. I'm pretty happy with this. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna find the fodder for these gloves. I believe you can buy them from Reboot. It's either from Reboot or from Magnus, and we should be able to transfer up the stars. There they are, these antique root gloves. We cleared hard Magnus, so we are able to buy this, and we can just simply transfer hammer this twice, so then we can get it onto our Absolab glove. And there we go, we have our 8-star Absolab glove with a little bit of dex. We gained actually 1% dex from that because it goes from a level 140 to 160 item. I'm just going to do the last couple of stars to get it to 10 stars. And there we have it. We have our 10-star Absolab glove. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a major enough upgrade for us to be able to attempt Damien just yet. I would love to try to do Damien so then I can replace this shoulder piece. That way we'll be able to get 10% boss damage and 20 attack, which is pretty significant. And I think that the shoulder piece is actually better than this. And we'll have a quick check, because we are currently using a really big set bonus with the boss accessories. I kind of want to avoid it if I can, replacing this piece just yet. Just looking at the shoulder piece, it is a slight upgrade on the raw stats of the item. Looks like it's a 4 attack and 4 all stat increase. But the current set bonus that I have right now is 15 all stat and 10 attack. Now I'm just comparing it against this. It looks like it should beat it out pretty easily, especially so if we get past 15 star. But until then, this is a pretty reasonable item to use. The shoulder at the moment is giving us our 9 set bonus, but I've realized that we don't actually have a pocket slot. So once we replace this item, we'll be able to still be 9 set if we get this slot open so we can use the cup. I don't have a cup at the moment, but I'll be doing pink bean every day to see if I can get one. And yeah, we'll see if we can get our charm up so we can unlock this. but I don't think I have an easy way of getting the traits just yet, because day 13, this increased potion I've already used, and I believe I've already bought out the event shop. Unfortunately, we are out of this trait boost potion, so we won't be able to get a free level 30 in our charm. We might have to just wait for that. So while I was looking at ways to get charm, I remembered that Golux can drop items that give you charm. It will add a little bit to it every day, and if I can get 1 or 2 drops a day, it will slowly add up and hopefully get us to the level 30 for the pocket slot. But being able to do Golux is quite nice too, because I realized just now I can do hard Golux, and that's a pretty nice amount of extra coins I can get per day working towards my superior set. I've also bought this greed pennant, which is kind of nice because now we have just a little bit of extra drop rate to go for reinforce potentially, but realistically I'm just going for a little bit of extra drop rate for the coins. Hard Golux only gives us about 20 coins a day, so just hoping for more can't ever hurt. It only took about 3 minutes to do hard Golux, and I think I'll add this to my daily schedule for this particular character. That way we can start working towards our superior pieces, even if it is quite slow. And there we go, 18 coins. Just another 1,500 coins to go. Okay, let's see if I have any guild skills. I haven't been in the guild for 24 hours yet. Alright. We'll just try with what we got then. Looking at just under 2 mil combat power, 8.5k stat with Maple Warrior on. Let's see how we go. There you go. Oh no, the ball's on me. They're so cursed. Oh, I almost died. That resistance iframe saved me. Actually, this sort of works out, because if I can make it over to the other side... Yeah, it sort of worked out. Not ideal, but, you know, we get it. Oh, you're right. I have a portal. You're a genius. You're a genius. Alright. It was unnecessarily difficult. You are right. You are a genius. Oh, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. See? This is why I need you guys. Oh my god, it's so much easier. Oh, never mind. This boss is free. This boss is free. Why didn't you say something earlier? It made me run back and forth on the map like an idiot. You know what? Damage in the balls is better than no damage, right? Oh my god, it was so free. Why didn't you tell me about the portal earlier? Oh my god. If we can get 2 cores, we can get our shoulder. Oh, 3! Oh, it's possible, guys. We're talking about this. 3! I think this might be the first time that I've gotten 3. I usually only get 2. But 3 is really good because originally I was gonna get the shoulder, but this gets me my weapon next week. Like, guaranteed I get my weapon next week. Nice. It feels so funny to be excited about normal Damien again. Yes, weapon in 3 days. That means I'll be 3 set. That means this character can actually get like 1.3 bill a week. It's been a few days since that stream, and we managed to clear normal Damien, which puts us on 3 of these Damien cores. So all we have to do now is just to clear Damien one more time, and we'll be able to get our Abso weapon. On top of that, because it is weekly reset as well, we'll be able to clear Lotus once again, and hopefully we also get 2 cores from Lotus, which will allow us to also buy our Abso shoes. And before I attempt those bosses, I just wanted to do a quick update on the character. You can see here I'm currently level 224. I used all the EXP coupons that I currently had from the current event, And what I'm going to do is actually going to claim these EXP vouchers on my mechanic as well. I know that I'm able to use these on the future Hyperburn, but I wanted to use it on my mechanic just so then I can get some more node slots. It seems a bit strange and I could just train the character, but honestly the thing that I would like to do is just add more of my V-Matrix skills in, and to do that I'll have to get these slots unlocked by leveling. So I want to see how far this takes me. It should take me to like 228, and hopefully by the end of the event I'll be able to be 230. And we'll just see how it goes. After using all the EXP coupons with a few remaining, we managed to hit 229. And all I need to do now, I think, to get the last level to 230 is to do the minigame a few more times. I haven't done it at all this week, so I'll be able to have another 3000 EXP points, which should push us to 230. It'll put us into a nice level range, and we'll have an extra node slot open. But for now though, I'm just pretty happy having at least one more so that I can have a spot for Goddess Blessing. This is just a nice damage increase for the burst, and yeah, I can't really complain with extra damage. I went ahead and did the Arcana prequest so that I could get the Arcane symbol. The Arcane symbol gives us a little bit of extra stat. It gives us 300 extra dex, which is nice. And our current combat power is 2 million, and our stat is just underneath 9,000 clean with no Maple Warrior. Another thing that's really nice too is that we get all these extra points for our hypers and get a pretty clean 10, 10, 10, 10 across the main for hyper points. I'm not too fussed about my hypers because I'm not high enough level for it to really matter, but it is nice having all these extra bits of damage that will help us clear the boss a little bit easier. And also, speaking of making the boss a bit easier, it has been a few days I've been in this guild, so I will be able to do Lotus and Damien with guild skills on. I am probably going to use them for at least Lotus. I don't think Damien really needs the guild skills because I'm not really in a time crunch, but for Lotus, getting out that boss faster means I have less chances of dying out, which is always nice. That being said, I think it is time for us to go ahead and try to do Lotus and Damien one more time and see if we can get lucky with our cores. If we can get at least 2 from Lotus and 2 from Damien, we'll be able to get our 3-set Absolab. So I managed to clear both Lotus and Damien within half an hour, which is pretty fast. I'm pretty happy with it. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I got to use my guild skills. Clearing both of those bosses in half an hour is really nice because it means that I could probably do the rest of the weeklies in about 30 minutes as well. Being able to do basically all the weeklies in about an hour is pretty good. Very nice pacing, and yeah, very happy that I pushed this character as far as I have. Now it's just a matter of getting the Absolab pieces now. So from Lotus, I believe I managed to get 2 cores. So I'll be able to get a armor piece. And from Damien, he actually gave me another 3 this week, which is really nice. Basically guaranteeing next week I will get my armor piece, the shoulder. So now I'm just going around to exchange the pieces in. So for Lotus, we'll be able to buy the shoes. I think the Tyrant Cape is just a lot better than the Abso Cape for the time being, until we can get it to 17 star, so I'll start off with the shoes. And from Dark World Tree, we'll be able to buy our weapon. And there we go, we're gonna grab our Absolab gun. The Absolab weapon is so much stronger than the Fafnir one. The base power is just so much better, and the flame potential is a lot higher as well. And this one actually came with a little bit of extra attack. I think I will still probably reflame it anyway. Same with the shoes don't even have a dex flame. So I will spend a little bit of money. I can sell the crystals from Lotus and Damien, putting us to 700 mil. And let's grab some flames just to make it a little bit more usable. So for the Absolab gun, we're looking for ideally about 60 attack for the flame. That'd be a best case scenario. I have some random flames I got from the bosses to see if we can get anything first. We actually got like a pretty decent flame here. There's no attack on it, so training is a little bit worse, but this is pretty decent for bossing. Maybe I'll keep this for the time being just because I can use this to finish the rest of the weeklies, and then I can decide whether or not to reflame it. I think this is a pretty reasonable keep for bossing, but for mobbing, maybe I might have to re-roll it. But for now, I'll just keep that, and we'll see what we can get on the shoes. Okay, we managed to hit 25 dex and 6 all stat. Unfortunately, we didn't get the 70 high roll on the dex, but this is still a pretty solid flame for Absolab. Because we managed to hit this flame on the Absolab shoes, and we have some flames left over, I don't feel too bad using it on the gun. I know that the flame on the gun is actually pretty decent, but I do want some weapon attack just so that I can do my dailies a little bit more consistently, and later on, when I do end up farming, I will need the extra attack anyway. So ideally, we'll get something along the lines of 60 weapon attack. That'd be ideal. Didn't hit any weapon attack. Let's buy a few more flames. And I might settle on whichever one I can hit off of these. Because flaming does get pretty expensive if we keep trying. Oh, wow. That is really nice. We managed to hit the 60 attack like I said. And we also got a bonus 10 boss damage. That's exactly what I want in terms of a flame. It doesn't really get much better when it comes to an Absolab weapon. Tier 6 attack with 10% boss damage. Basically done. All we have to do now is to transfer hammer the weapon across. But before we do that, let's have a quick look at our combat power. We're sitting at 1.7 right now, and I can see it increasing quite a lot once we transfer over the weapon. We get our 2 set from this. We lose 30% boss damage from the Fafnir set, but we gain quite a bit from the weapon being a lot better. And we do get an increase in our combat power here. Just to finish off these shoes, we should probably give it a potential. And we have some spare hard cubes we got from bossing. We'll probably get some more throughout the week. And we'll see if we can get something off of this. Wow, on the last one we managed to get the tier up. Let's see if we can use a solid cube. See if we can get maybe 7% dex. I have some expiring glowing cubes here. And there we go, we managed to hit 7% dex. Perfect. Last thing to do on these shoes is to get it to 12 star, or maybe just 10 star for now. And there we go, 10 star shoes. And let's see our combat power increase from 1.8. And we are sitting at 2 mil clean. I don't have my full Links and Legion on at the moment, but what we can see is a pretty significant increase from swapping out those 2 items, our Absolab shoes and our weapon. Now at 3 set Absolab. Next week we'll be at 5 once we clear Lotus one more time to replace the cape, and we'll be able to get the shoulder as well from Damien. Overall, I'm really happy with the progress of this character. It is a lot stronger than I expected thanks to a lot of different things. I think a lot of it came down to my nodes being such high level. This current event gave us a lot of EXP node stones, so a lot of my skill nodes and my boost nodes are very, very high, making this character significantly stronger than it looks. It only has 9k stat right now, but it is so much stronger than it looks. Anyway guys, this video is getting pretty long, so I might have to leave it at that. Thank you all for watching and joining me on my adventures with this mechanic so far. I think on the next part I'll be going back to my battle mage because we will be doing a lot of things on star forcing. Sunny Sunday is coming up and it is a 5, 10, 15 event, so I will be doing something a little bit more focused back on the main and then seeing what progress we can make on that. I'll do my best to bounce between the 2 characters so then you guys can see the progress of both, and let me know what you guys think in the comments as well regarding my progress. That being said, thank you again for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next part.